Welcome to this video. In the last video, we looked at the primitive data types in Python, namely integers, floats, strings, boolean, and null. In this video, we'll look in a bit of detail about strings, right? So what are the things that we'll look at in this video is how to find the length of a string, what is the length of the string and how to find it, what is indexing, right? And how to join or combine strings together. Okay, so let's quickly jump to our idle shell and start working. All right. So let's say S1 is a string. It says hello world, right? This kind of a very basic, program everybody writes at the start of learning any programming language, right? Hello world. So S1 is a string. Okay. You can check the type of S1, which is str. All right. Now, the first thing that we're going to look at here is what are the different ways you can create a string. In this case, what we did here, we used a double quote here, right? Let's use a single quote, S2 equal to single quote. We are learning Python. Single quote, sorry. S2 is we are learning Python. Again, check the type of S2. Still, you'll get str. Right? Let's create S3. Now, if you remember, we can create strings using triple quotes, right? Hello, everyone. Let's say I want to go to the next line. We can do it with triple quotes, not with single or double quotes, right? We are looking at strings, full stop, let's say bye, and end of triple quotes. Remember, if you use double triple quote, you have to use the same quote here as well. You can't write single, you can't write like this, or you can't write like this, or you can't write like this. It has to be double triple quote, all right? Now, if you see S3, how it look at? It will look like this. Why? We have created it in 3 lines, but it is showing us in a single line. So in idle, when you try to fetch the value of any string which is written in multiple lines, it will show it in a single line with the new line character /n in the middle. So every line will be represented as, every new line will be represented as \n. This is a single character, a special character that is used in Python to represent a new line or a next line. So if you see here, after hello everyone, full stop, a /n is written. After we are looking at strings, instead of the next line, a character called new line is written here, /n. Okay, we'll be learning more about it later. If you check the data type of S3, it will also give you str, right, which is string. All right. Now, this is what we have already seen. Now, next thing what we're going to understand is how to find the length of a string. Now, before we understand how to find the length of the string, we should understand what is the length of the string. When I say length of the string, what does it mean? Length of the string means how many characters are there in the string. All right. Let's take an example again. Let's say S4 and I say Python. Okay. Now, how many characters are there in Python? Python. There are 6 characters, right? So that is what it is called as the length of a string, number of characters in that string. So there is a function called len, L-E-N, small letters. This function is used to find out the length of the string or number of characters of the string, right? In Python, when we use any function, we have to use a pair of brackets, and inside the pair of brackets, we have to use the argument for which I want to find the length of. In this case, let's say S4. Okay, so S4 has 6 characters. I should get the output as 6. See, we're getting the output as 6. Now, remember S1? S1 is hello world, right? Now, tell me, you pause the video and think for a bit and tell me what should be the length of S1. Were you able to find out? Were you able to think what should be the length of S1? There are 5 characters in hello. There are 5 characters in world. Will it be 10? No, it won't be 10. Why? Because there is a space between hello and world. Space is a valid character in Python. You should remember, space should be counted as one character. So hello 5, world 5, 1 for space. So it will be total 11 characters, or in other words, in Python words, the length of the string S1 is 11. Understood? Make sense? All right. Now, similarly, you can find the length of S2, you can find the length of S3, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to see is indexing. Now, what is indexing? Indexing means positioning. Now, to understand indexing, we have to understand one thing about Python is every string, right? Every string that we create, let's say S4, which is Python, it has an internal position assigned to every character of that string. For example, if you have Python, right? So if you have Python, every character, let's say first character P, will have an internal position. Y will have its own position, T will have its own position, H will have its own position, and so on and so forth. All right. Like, let's say you are going inside a society, right, where residential society, wherein one by one houses are there, right? Each house will have their numbers in sequence. Similarly, the characters, you can think that these are houses one after the other, and each house, in this case each character, will have its own number starting from 0. So P will have the position or index of 0, Y will have a position or index of 1, T will have a position or index of 2, H will have an index or position of 3, O will have 4, and N will have 5, right? So this is what indexes are or positions are. Every character in Python string has its own position, which is called index. All right. And what is indexing? Indexing means the process of fetching a particular character using its index. By using its index or position, we can fetch a particular character of a string in Python, which is called indexing. All right. So how to do indexing? Indexing is done by using square brackets. Now let's understand. Let's say we have S1. Okay, let's take an example of, or S4, whatever. Let's say S4, square brackets, a pair of square brackets. Inside the square bracket, we write the position or the index of the character that we want to fetch. Let's say I want to fetch P. What should be my index of P? Right, I just said the index of P is 0. So I will write 0. So if I write S4, starting of square bracket, 0, end of square bracket, it means I'm trying to fetch or index the first character or the 0th index character of the S4 string, which is P. See, you get a P as a string, right? It is enclosed with quotes. So a single character is also a string in Python, right? So when you do an indexing, you get a single character at that particular location. Okay. Now, let's understand it in detail. Let's take more examples. Let's say S4 of 1 will give you the first index character. Always remember this. Okay, in Python, anywhere that you're going to use, index starts from 0. 1 means the second character, which is Y. Okay. S4 of 2 will give you the third character, which is T, and so on and so forth. Now, what will be the index of N? What will be the index of N? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The index of N will be 5. Let's write it down and see. Try to visualize it. T Y T H O N, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I want to fetch the character n, I will use the index 5, right? Is 4 of 5. So I get a n. Now, is there any character after n? No, right? There is no index also after n, right? So what if I do S4 of 6? What will happen if I do S4 of 6? Do we have any character? No, right? So if you see P Y T H O N 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is no 6, right? So we have 6. No, it's not there. So if you try to fetch S4 of 6, there is no character over there. What should happen? Again, you can pause the video and think. It should be an error. There is no character at index number 6. It gives you index error saying that string index out of range. The range of the indexes for the S4 string, which contains Python, is 0 to 5. Now, how do you understand how do you know the range? It's a straightforward thing. You know the length. If you don't know the length, you know how to find out the length. So using the len function, you can find the length of any string, which is 6 in this case, right? And what is the last index of S4? 5. So always remember that the last index is length minus 1. Why? Because if you start counting from 0, you will reach the end. What is length? The number of characters. So number of characters are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. According to that, the last character is the 6th character. But according to the index concept of Python, since we start counting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So always remember the last character of the string will be length minus 1. In this case, 6 minus 1, which is 5. So in case of a long string, for example, S1, right? Now, what is the length of the string S1? 11. So if I ask you what is the last character is length minus 1, which is 11 minus 1, which is nothing but 10. So if you do a S1 of 10, you will get the last character of S1, which is D. Understood? All right. Now, similarly, instead of understanding the last, always trying to find out the last index by this length minus 1, there is another way we can actually find the last index. Let's take the hello world example. Hello space world. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right? Now, these are called positive indexing. Positive index. Starting from left to right from 0 to n minus 1. This is n minus 1. This is 0. Now, there is something called negative index as well in Python. Now, negative indexing starts from the last character starting from minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and so on and so forth. And it goes till minus length, which is minus 11 in this case. All right, makes sense? Why minus 11? Because we are not starting from we're not starting from 0, we're starting from minus 1. So if you start from minus 1 on the right side, it goes till minus 11 on the left side. So now, if you want to fetch the last character of any string, instead of doing length and then minus 1 of it, right, simply you can do minus 1. Simply, you can do minus 1. If you want to fetch the second last character, minus 2, third last character, minus 3, and so on and so forth. Now, for example, let's take the example of S3, right? We have this, or S2. Let's take S2 for simplicity. So we are learning Python. Now, we can find out the length of it and then do length minus 1 and then fetch this last character. Instead of doing that, straightforward, we can do S2 of minus 1 to fetch the last character, which is n. See? Okay? And then S2 of minus 2 to get the second last character. Tell me what it will be. It will be O, right? So what do we understand? There are positive and negative index or positions of strings in Python. The positive indexing starts from left to right from 0 to n minus 1, and the negative indexing starts from right to left from minus 1 to minus n. All right. The last thing that we're going to see here is in this video is joining of strings together. Now let's say we have two strings. We have S1 and S2. Okay. Now joining of strings is done by the plus operator. If we do S1 plus S2, do you think it will work? Obviously, plus we have learned till now is an addition operation, right? Can we add two strings? No, we can't add two strings, or we can't add two names together. The meaning of adding will be joining in this case, and Python supports that. So when I do this, we'll actually get hello world, and which will be added with we are learning Python. One thing to note here is there is no space or no gap between the first string and the second string, because it will be added as it is. If you want to add a space in the middle, you should do S1 plus space and then plus S2, so that there will be a space between S1 and S2. See, hello world space we are learning Python. All right. So this is what is called joining or concatenation of strings. Joining is called concatenation of strings. So what did we learn in this video? We learned how to find the length of the string using the len function. What is indexes? What are indexes? What is positive indexing? What is negative indexing? How to index a string using positive and negative indexing, and how to join strings together. All right. So that's all for this video. Thank you.